Hello and welcome to another episode of Geek-men and the Masters of the Thunder Nerds. I am Dustin.
I'm Pamara.
That's right. And today we have with us a very special guest, Brandon Braswell
What's up? How you
of
guys?
9 to 5 Warriors. How's it going?
Doing great, man. Thank you for having me on. How are you
Yeah,
guys?
anytime.
We're doing good.
Anytime. So, we have a comment coming on. Howdy, howdy.
What's up?
Jessica.
Hi,
I hear
Jessica.
you. Yeah, she's getting ready to go to a WWE thing, so she has her own plans. But anyway, dude, first of all, super excited to have you on. Your line reminds me so much of the old food fighters and
Yeah.
stuff. It's just, it brings back so much nostalgia for me.
Thank you, thank you. Well, that's definitely one of the top inspirations. That Ninja Turtles and like just everything that surrounds me in this room is
Yeah.
a combination of like 9 to 5 Warriors. So
Yeah.
like as a kid, Major Eraser was one of the creations I used to do out of my own school supplies.
That's funny.
Stick a thumbtack in the eraser, draw on his face, and that was my like nerdy like play with toys that aren't allowed in school to play with toys.
Right.
Like an army of little minions.
That's awesome. So, I guess tell us a little bit about the history. Like, what like really caused you to get into it more than just the what was the first thought you had to get it out there? What was the first desire?
I like to say like the line started the same way my collection started. Is I was at a restaurant in LA, and you have to wait in a toy store next door, and it was genius because you're just browsing and they have like an intercom to tell your table's ready. But when I walked into that store, I was like so like dumbfounded by like, oh my god, I remember this toy, and like just nostalgia hit me like hard. And at the time, I think I was like 20 something, 20, maybe 24, 25, but I didn't collect toys, and I didn't have any interest in collecting toys. Like to me, I had kind of literally forgotten by that. At that point, like midlife, I was struggling and shit. So when I was here with that toy store, I was like, oh my god, what a like beautiful moment, what a beautiful memories. And I was just really struck with nostalgia, and that sensation that I felt was something I like. My mind instantly like, I want to create that sensation for the kids growing up today and people like me, like remind them of how that the 90s and the 80s used to be, of like imagination, fun, and creative ideas. So that's like how it all started.
Nice. That's awesome, and that's a very good aspiration to to desire to want to do that. It's so cool to see that, because I mean, dude, kids don't use their imagination these days. I mean, they're just sitting in front of their tablets and whatnot. So
Absolutely, they're imagination thieves. If anything, the attention span's a lot shorter.
Yeah.
I catch myself the same,
yeah, I mean, dude, so like my kids, when I take them outside, they're like, I'm bored, and it's just like, so now it's like expecting me to entertain them. It's like, dude, when I went outside, I was thankful to go outside, and I was run, and it's just it's not the same today. But
I just saw some like meme. It was a video, and the dad's like shouting at his kids, like, "Why am I grounded?" He's like, "Because you didn't do good." He's like, "Then why can't I go inside? Because you're grounded. Go outside and play."
You're right.
Lord. He's like, "I know. Just go figure something out." And like, it's so true. And
that is true. That's
I did
actually a
see
good
that.
punishment.
I was thinking about that.
go outside and have fun.
Well, how
Go
do I
outside.
do that?
What's to do outside? You'll figure it out, or you won't, or you'll starve.
Exactly.
Make mud, something.
So that's like the imagination factor is exactly the embodiment of the toys, and even decisions that I made, like limiting the articulation, were all around that as well. It's just I felt the toys I grew up with, Ninja Turtles, etc. Like playing with them, I honestly felt they had a lot more articulation. And then when I recollected them later on, I was like, oh shit, they don't even bend at the elbows. Like, oh my god, don't even bend at the knees. It's insane. Like, doing backflips, I thought like I just remember having vivid imagination, like throwing the vehicles and having such wild adventures. So I'm like, okay, if I create a toy like that, like let me start with story first, and that's my background, kind of my professional life. I'm a storyteller through video, so story editing and visual effects, and that's kind of what I felt like what made the best toys. You know, X-Men around me, you know, Ninja Turtles again, and GI Joe. They had everything was rooted in really strong story and strong characters. So I just started there, just doodling and sketching my own ideas and like really finessing the plot. And maybe a few months later, I released like the trading cards to give like snippets,
Oh, cool.
comic book, and then the animated intro to a show that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
That was cool. I like that.
So that was like, this is 9 to 5 Warriors, at least to spark conversation and hopefully make the toys. I thought it was going to happen a lot faster. That was like 12 years ago, but here I am today. They're done. 4.
Wow. I mean, it's so. I mean, if we take a look at I'll share my screen. Share 9 to 5 Warriors. So this is your social page and Instagram, the bane of your existence, right? As you
A
so
love-hate relationship right now.
yeah, right.
Mainly.
So I mean, it's just so awesome, and this is the your major eraser that you have talked about, and so you used to stick a thumbtack in this, and
Yeah. So
and
crudely, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
thumbtack in my eraser, a face, and then paperclip arms and legs so you can at least stand. And
Cool.
the idea was just like something in my pocket, and then there's that like fidgeting feel, this having your favorite toy. And this was something that just kept me company in school. There were other creations. Not many people remember like Creepy Crawlers, of course, but Creepy Crawlers had a tray system that was literally like I can't remember the name of it now, but basically you create your own creatures and you use pencils and then what you're making out of the creepy crawlers are the arms and legs, and you like slide it on and face.
Oh.
That was just a really fun. I remember finding one of them in my my storage unit, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. But creepy crawlers and doing that with pencils and creating like minions and stuff, like they were all evil. So it's cool that they're now the good guys. But that's how I play up my supplies.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love creepy crawlers, and I still remember the theme song to this day. So yeah, it's I definitely get that. Where's the?
I'm gonna send you my media kit. I should have sent it earlier, but in here you can find the commercials and other things like the animated series
intro.
Yeah, if you go to the commercials folder, at the very bottom is the animated intro. At least that's what I did a very long time ago. I sent it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. Let me do this here, and I'll do this and.
But yeah, years ago, that's what I figured can help spur the momentum is let me get the animated intro there out. At the time, the indie toy scene was very sparse. It was primarily like indie toys and art toys. And I felt, again, like none of them really had story to any of their characters. So I'm like, I really wanted to bring something else that's new. And I had no idea how to make a toy. So I said, let me figure at least what I start with, what I know. And then commercials.
You want me to go in the commercials?
Yeah. And at the very bottom should be animated intro. Or right there, third one.
Right here? This one?
No, the third one up top, sorry.
Oh. Okay. I see.
Hopefully that.
9 to 5 Warriors, just as the light gets lower, that's when they all take over. At night, the fighting begins. There's no telling which side will win. Some good, some bad, some crazy, some rad. Commandos and bandits, they both just gotta have it. 9 to 5 Warriors. They're your 9 to 5 Warriors. Custard, it's always mischief. Eraser, they try to fix it. It's mayhem in an office mosh pit. These are your 9 to 5 warriors. Gender electricity brought them all to life, you see. This is how they came to be. Brought to this reality. It happens every day from 9 to 5.
That's awesome.
I love it.
So that gives you like a peek into the world of what I think could be the world of 9 to 5 Warriors. You know, like clearly the Colonel Custard's the bad guy, and he's just like a revengeful little donut. He's angry that someone took a bite out of him and tossed him away back when he was a real donut because he was stale. So the main character who's not seen there is developed in the comic book. He's the human character named Alan McMillan, and essentially he's basically like me, who's stuck in the office, and he just started creating like action figures out of his office supplies and leftover food, and he would like speak to their personalities and you know describe what their actions were, or play little missions with them, placing them around their desk. And in typical 90s fashion, one fateful night, his favorite can of Japanese energy drink, Jensei, topples over his trash can and objects and sparks them all to life, and they retain the personalities that he like spoke to them. So that's the premise. Custard is constantly searching for Jensei around the office to create new minions along the way, and the water cooler commando led by Major Racers basically try to stop him and like maintain the office.
That's so cool. I love it. Oh man. So dude, so I'm guessing you're hoping this gets picked up into a show, or it's turning into a show, or
Yeah.
or
I've been pitching it. There's been thankfully talks, and I think the all of this stuff that was going on in Hollywood, like the actor strikes and animation studios now, there was a slowdown in animation. But what's good is that the conversation has continued. I have a meeting actually tomorrow, and there's definite interest. And I think with the popularity of X-Men rebooting and like they're constantly searching for, I hate the term kidult, you know, content for people like us that are constantly searching this nostalgia and like want to relive that. And again, to appeal to the kids growing up today. So I think I have positioned it in the right way, and I think it's an engaging story and like lovable characters. And so far, it's funny. I started with the toys first. Usually, it's the toys, and then you push the cartoon alongside it as a commercial.
right. Well, that's awesome that it's happening in any case. But I mean, dude, that's so exciting.
Thank you.
Oh man. So, man, I'm just so overwhelmed. Like, so you shared a, let me see if I can find it. It was on Instagram, but it might have been on your stories or something. No. I don't know. It was really neat because it was sort of like a poke at the food fighters, and they were like tied up. They had tied them up and stuff. It's just like, yeah, that's funny. That would be so cool.
That was one of my customers. They bought the set, and then to play with them on their end with their food fighters. They play along nicely, at least. They use Tech Sergeant Scotchy, who actually uses real tape, and he around like some food fighters and hung them up in the distance. And that's what's cool. Again, like that's the creativity and imagination I'm hoping people take on with it, and like just create their own adventures. It's been cool to see.
I could see him playing with them during work.
Yep. I mean, I would totally do that.
Yeah.
I'd be guilty.
Yeah.
Be an excuse to buy stuff for my desk.
Right.
If I can replace a Funko Pop, I've succeeded.
Yeah, Funko Pop it's nice that certain people are into it, but it's like at the same time, it's like I want more. But
at least you could play with 9 to 5.
Yeah, for sure. So you're the Scotchy uses Scotch tape, right?
Yeah.
Are there any other future plans to incorporate more things?
It's hard. I'm trying to bring bring the element of bring your own supplies to it. So rather than like try to ship with supplies, because then that gets crazy because the factory obviously just deals with plastic and also want to like refrain from any.
Right.
But the next character that should have a cool play feature, maybe Brigadier Bouncy. I'm still actually trying to work out how we can actually use rubber bands. So he's made out of rubber bands.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And the idea, I would love for him to fire out something with a rubber band, but again, it comes down to like how complicated, and I'm trying to simplify the tooling and keep it to the aesthetic. But overall, it's kind of bring your own supplies. And then what's cool is you can build your own sets. You know, like I have like a watchtower made out of pencils, and I have like a pen catapult that like fires out, you know, crumbled up pieces of paper and what have you.
That's cool.
And that's something that I'm working on. It's called very, very rough prototyping of like, this is essentially like, looks like rubber bands strapped together. And the premise is kind of like the adult version of Kinex. So like this would be a base, which is like a wadded up piece of paper, and it has a suction cup, not this version, but essentially I want to sell these like little accessories as like a build your own base and something that kind of take Lego's approach and build your own, you know, fortresses, vehicles, etc. Now literally like a bag of these, like different odd shapes and whatnot. These are just pretty much the prototypes.
Yeah.
But that's to alleviate the issue of like, to make a toy is very expensive, hence why you have like $300 vehicles nowadays and $500 bases, etc. I'm trying to eliminate that and create something for the intermediate. So like you have pencils and paper objects around your desk, like might as well utilize them and build things that can support the toy system and right along, you know.
That's awesome, dude. I would love that.
And they're free from work, so you can grab pens from the cabinet all the time.
Right.
The other secret source is a dollar store. I'll go there and like just grab as much stuff, and it's like, damn, like a whole pack of pencils for 99 cents and so forth. So that's the stash place.
Heck yeah. Now I need to come up with something to use. It's like, that's so exciting. I mean, dude, I'm at a loss for words. Like that's just, I'm excited that you're wanting to basically try to solve a problem with your accessory kit. It's like, recognize that there's an issue. You want vehicles, you want castles, you want all this stuff, but who wants to fork out like $300, $400, $500 for it?
100%. Plus, it goes into the whole
me.
Yeah. It goes into the whole theme of the imagination and play factor, and like that. Thankfully, I mean that's what's cool. Honestly, now, I mean I've been talking about this for 12 years, and I did, you know, quit for like 8. So, but I originally wanted this always to be a show, like I said, for the kids growing up today. And my belief was, yes, even though it's based in the office, like, I mean, look how many shows in our childhood weren't so like, here's a classroom, here's a playpen, here's like, they were more adult themed. I mean, they were really awesome, and they didn't dumb down content. But I felt the office environment was such a cool and mysterious place, especially your parents disappear every day from 9 to 5. Like, where are they going? So it added to the element. But the theme was always, I really did feel this would be perfect for kids. And my approach was to go to the adults that are having kids, and hopefully they buy them. And that was always a hypothesis, you know, give them to their kids. And it's awesome to actually see it happening today. And I get messages from like parents like, oh my God, my kids like never play with toys and they're playing with this. And they want the other ones. They love the comic book. They want more characters. Like, and it's like, that's exciting to hear because something's working. And again, it kind of goes back to the limitations and things that make you like start waking up that muscle. It's because I honestly, I have one of my nephews, I bought him all the latest toys, like the He-Mans and things that he has no idea what they are, honestly. He has no context to the content. And when I gave it to him, he's like, oh, this is cool. I'm like, this is awesome though. It's He-Man. It's got the Panther. Like, I'm like, he's like, okay. And like, Forgot about
Oh
it.
no.
I bought him like a couple of blind boxes of like Sonic. They don't even move, and he's like playing with Sonic. And he's like, and he's like zooming around. I'm like, so funny. Like the most simplest toys really get them going, especially if they have a context to it. He plays at least Sonic games, so he loves the character.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's that's for sure. That's dude. That's so cool. Where is it? Yeah, that's the commercial. Yeah, I don't know. I totally lost track of my thought. Part of my defective brain. But
How'd you first hear of the brand?
It was on Instagram. I don't know who
It works at
who
times.
saw it, but I was just like, "Oh, what's this?" And I clicked the thing, and I think I saw that commercial or a version of that commercial, and I'm just like, "Dude, those are cool." And it's like just sort of has been trickling in my mind this entire time, like percolating, I should say.
It's working.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's seeping into my brain.
So you have to have the catchy theme song. You have to have the fun animation. It's all scientific. Late at night, you're gonna be whistling 9 to 5 boys. Damn it!
I'm trying to sleep.
I dig it. I mean, that's how it should go. I mean, how many times you were just thinking this the other day? It was some stupid Febreze commercial, maybe.
It was Jardians.
Yeah, Jardians.
Or the pill that lowers your A1C.
Yeah, she's just like, take a day, and it's just like, I don't want this in my head.
I know.
It works so well. Like if you watch, like I remember for inspiration and stuff, and just to like relive those memories, I'd watch like the commercials, like commercials strung together from like 90s or 80s. We pick it, but it's all jingles if you pay attention. At least to the most successful companies that like lasted till today. They always had the right jingles. They always had the right songs. It was like Folgers, the right pick me up. Like you can literally start like remembering it. It's like, holy shit, everything was just a song.
Yep.
It was like a commercial break into just musical choirs and like get stuck into your head. And then,
Yeah.
it worked very well.
Wow.
That's what we got to do.
Never thought of it that way. It's true.
Oh man. So I mean, okay. So where should we do this? Where did it go? Should also have had this going. And now these are available on Big Bad Toy Store, or is there another way to get them?
There's thankfully a couple retailers around the States and UK. Then 9to5warriors.com is the best way as well. They're all in stock. I think Big Bad Toy Store is out of stock out of a few of them.
Wow.
Yeah. Thankfully, they've been selling. I gotta restock back Big Bad Toy Store soon. Let me double check. Yeah, right now they have Major and Colonel Custer, the two bad guys. I mean, two main leads, a good guy and a bad guy. But they're out of Tech Sergeant Scotchy and Commodore Chris from the comics.
Nine. Let's see, where's the here we go. Do this.
Okay.
9to5warriors.com. Scrolling. And yeah, so I guess what has been your process and as far as character creation and stuff like that? Is it all been like things you've had on the shelf and just brought to life recently, or is it what's the story there?
No, so yeah, everything that's being produced now is was developed back in 2012-ish. So back then, like I said, I started with story, started writing out the bios. I had 10 characters laid out, like 5 versus 5, essentially.
Mhm.
So the water cooler commandos that consisted of mostly office supplies. So as the leader, Major Racer, his right-hand man, the right supply for any job is Lieutenant Lead, who's made out of a pencil. The mechanic of the group is Tech Sergeant Scotchy, who's released, and he's made out of tape. Then, like I had the goofball explosion specialist, a funny mix, made out of the rubber band balls. His name is Brigadier Bouncy. And then also the last member of that is actually a food item named Corporal Can. And he acts as like the communication specialist of the team. So he, in the toy version, his lid pops open and inside are like his peanut minions who are like posed kind of like similar to, the idea was kind of based around the army men.
Yeah.
So you have one like with a microphone, one with like a walkie-talkie, and one just like pointing and with a binoculars. And the premise is like he opens up the lid. He's always in the back of conflict, you know, he's like a pacifist, and that's why he's on the good guy's side. He originally was part of the Break Room Bandits team because he's food. But once he heard Colonel Puffy's plan to off the domination, he's like, this guy's a little fucking crazy. So he joined over to the good guys. And so on the bad guy side, it's like I said, the leader is Colonel Custard. He's made out of a rotten donut. His right-hand lady is Specialist Sugar, who's like artificial sweetener. And she's actually really like the brains behind the bandits. Even though not many people give her the respect and listen to her, she's sharp with her wits and like can plan perfect strategies to knock out and do whatever they need to do. Next up is number 2, who's also a pencil. So the story is going back to Alan, the office worker that created them all. He had his favorite pencil, you know, the right supply for any job. And the office asshole basically like snapped it in half and like tossed it back to Alan. And Alan, being the resourceful person that he is, he managed to salvage, you know, sharpen the end for Lieutenant Lead and became a perfect, you know, miniature pencil, still good. And then it sharpened the other end of the broken bit, and now it's like a double-sided pencil. So he's like, I don't know what to really do with this kind of useless thing. And he embodied that like resentment and anger of not feeling like he belongs anywhere. And the idea like you can't make a mistake. Meanwhile, his perfect brother gets all the attention and stuff. So it's cool, like dynamic of like he ends up on the bad guy side, and he's kind of like a lone wolf. And yeah, he's named literally number 2, and his plan is to always try to be number 1. Then next up is Commodore Crisp, who was released as well, and he's a stack of Pringles, and he's like one of the top sellers. Him and Colonel Custard kind of go back and forth on who's top seller. And the premise was awesome. So the sculptor that I worked with is Scott Hensley, and he's responsible for half the toys on the toy shelf. He worked on all the bad guys of Ninja Turtles, Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady, etc.
Oh, wow.
And he's still around doing handmade toys, and not to mention like a plethora of like Happy Meal toys from the 80s and 90s. So what was awesome is with that toy design for Commodore Crisp, he actually he used that expertise and figured out a way to like make them all stack into one.
That's cool.
Yet separate into 3 individual characters. And he's just a fun character. Like he's also like he's not a communications expert, but he handles the communication side, and like he breaks up what one minion hears and sees, the other one can relate. So they use that to like go around enemy forces and relay any messages.
Yeah.
Then the last step, I believe, is Sergeant Spore, who's made out of a rotten sandwich. And since he's rotten, his brains aren't all there. It's like kind of dumb character. But he's brute force. He's the biggest one of them all. I wish I had the prototypes, but they're in China now. But that character design was awesome. Basically, he's hunched over, and he's like, let's say 4.5 inches, while the others are 3.75. So what's cool about him, he's actually arches over and hunches over like Colonel Custard. So he's like the perfect front line.
Nice.
He's like the enforcer of the group. But basically, yeah, all of that was choreographed and illustrated and thought out back then, and it's been this journey now to like get them out and about and share the story.
That's awesome, dude. I love it. I can't wait to get my hands on them. I've been itching to get them, but finances and things like that.
Of course.
But yeah. Anything you want to chime in with, Kumara?
I want some too. They look like
I know,
fun.
right? They really do. I was wondering, it's like that would be cool if you managed to figure out a way to make the rubber band ball bounce. It's just like that would be cool.
Yeah.
Because they literally, when you throw it, it's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
You throw it and a million rubber bands fly off in every direction. It's just like, that is insane.
That's definitely the plan, that he will be bounceable. Fingers crossed that the factory can figure that out without removing any details.
Yeah.
Just not probably using real rubber bands.
Yeah, right.
But yeah. The idea would be he can bounce off walls and take off his arms, and we can roll them into the other bad guys, and he's cool. Had like a chipped tooth to his face to like show the character like gets beaten up, and
Yeah,
It's cool.
that's what it adds to his funny demeanor.
yeah. I mean, and in the trailer thing, the commercial, he even had it reminded me of Ram Man when he bounced. He's like all dizzy and stuff from when he was ramming stuff. It's like that's funny. That's definitely feels like a callback to that era, because he was the big dumb like bouncing off things with his head and all that. Like, yeah, I love it.
It's a good balance. You got brains, you got beauty, you got dumb characters, you got the brave guy, you got the right hand man. It's like it's a good dynamic, and of course a crafty mechanic. Tech Sergeant Scotchy's my favorite out of this batch. Funny enough, like I think during the prototyping stage and just modeling, I think he was the one I kept on printing to get right, and then having sit him on my desk. I'm like, it's just so lovable. I don't know. It's just like his body's unique in a sense. It's like it's really odd. Like you made a toy out of the tape dispenser that works, And he's been doing really well.
He's one of the things that I've seen, like tape dispensers, and I've instantly thought of, like, just created in my head, like, okay, yeah, that's a bad guy, or that's doing this thing, and just like the same thing with like pens and stuff. It's just like I always had this one cap that I would always take off, and then that would be like a spaceship flying thing, and it's like it's just insane. I love where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I think I lost you.
No.
Hello? Can you hear me? No, I did lose him.
No.
Yeah, there you are.
That was strange.
Yeah.
Bounced me.
Well, I am insanely excited for this, and I wish you all the best of luck. And man, I cannot wait to hear more of like where it's going. Like, I'm sure you have plans, but you can't share them just yet. But I'm excited to hear those. I'm excited to see where the line goes.
Yeah, at the moment, it's just focusing on these 4, getting them out there and building awareness. That's always the hardest bits, and I always appreciate opportunities like this to just talk about the brand. And then, releasing the next 6 hopefully will be through a Kickstarter. Yeah, I'll do like two at a time.
All right.
Unlocking each new characters, but it should be awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back on when you're doing the Kickstarter, and we'll pitch the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
You're
Yeah, no,
welcome.
thank you for coming on, man. It's like you said, you can find all of the pertinent information at 9 to 5 Warriors, and go buy stuff. Go buy them, because I am.
Yeah. We need a few sets.
I
2
know, right?
for our girls and 2 for us.
There you go.
Right.
That's the right way to put it.
All right. Well, again, it's been fantastic having you on, and we'll have to get you back on when you're doing the Kickstarter to pitch that out, and yeah, let's get it going. Let's get this rolling.
Right on. All right. Have a great night, guys.
Yeah, you too.
too.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, that was fun.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to wrap it up here, and coming up, we have, again, our broadcast coming up Friday for ADHD Theater. The movies are
Return to Oz.
Return to Oz and
Star
Crash. And yeah, Star Crash. And so watch for that. And then immediately after, stick around because we'll be doing an interview with 2 creators of the Silverline comics. Folks will be on, so be watchful for that. And yeah, until next time,